We have been talking about CSS roadmap. In that, I think I've covered yesterday, day 4. We have visited some of the properties. If you remember, uh, in the previous class, we have covered what is called as fontasm. If you remember, yeah, I showed you how to
Yes,
include this, how to include a custom font, I mean icons in the form of font, the different options that we have, and why we are supposed to go for fontasm. Apart from that, we discussed what is position, and we saw there are different position values like this. These are all the different values for a single property called position. Yeah. So in that I think we have covered few of them. Today we'll have a roundup of once again covering what is it. Uh, we talked about list styling and some of the properties. For example, list style type none. Yeah. And then list style image. We can also put an image. Yeah. There was another property. I think there are 3 properties related to the list styling. All right. So we will understand what is called link styling today bit in detail. We will have a roundup of position. I think I have got some good examples to talk about what are CSS positions. Okay. On top of that, I'll show you some examples for Z index. Yesterday we have discussed what is cursor. I also tried to explain Z index. I think we missed some good examples. We will cover that. So in terms of pseudo, yeah, so pseudo we have got pseudo classes and pseudo elements. I think I'll be able to cover pseudo classes today, and we'll try if I can cover pseudo elements as well. Okay, so with that, uh, let's get started. So let me start off with Z index. So what did we discuss about Z index yesterday? I told you it is like a Z axis for you. So we all know there are axes. We have studied in science that there are X axis, Y axis, Z axis. So in the Z axis, I told you the things are going to get aligned. And if you remember, we said there is a default position which is static, which is nothing but it will not move. It is fixed. It comes in the natural order in which it is present in the document, which is a static. But now this Z index will work, okay, mainly on positioned element. And also, yeah, they have given some more definitions like even flex elements also, or even grid items, positioned element and its descendants. This is very important point. That's why the example which we tried yesterday didn't work actually. So we missed this important point called it does work only on the positioned element. And also I can apply on its descendants also. Yeah. So there, whenever there is a overlapping, then the Z index will actually help us in positioning that element in the proper order. You can think of Z index is also one of the positioning property. Some of the people will cover Z index also as a positioning because it can positioning along the Z axis is what it helps us. But important thing is, first of all, the element should come on that Z axis. Then only it can help you order it, correct? Don't you understand like that? If the elements are there placed on the Z axis, yeah, remember I said Z axis is there, and in that Z axis, if the elements are there, then I can position it. But yesterday's example, we did not place the element on the Z axis only. We tried changing it. Remember this diagram? So first the element should come. When that element will come on the Z axis? Simple answer is if at all you make that element as positioned. Or if at all the parent of any of the elements are having a positioned. So we described yesterday what is positioned. Okay. So with that, let's understand the different values of Z index. Okay. I'll tell you. There's one good example also to tell you what is Z index. You see, MDN has a very good example. So the default value of Z index is auto. Now you see the yellow color box. Okay, the one which is highlighted in blue now. So this is the element I'm trying to position it. See, by default it is auto. You can see that there are so many elements which are stacked on top of it using z index 6, 4, 2. I told you z index is an arbitrary number. I can give a lot of different values actually. Yeah. So I can give arbitrary number starting from 0, like just like an axis. Now you see what happens to that yellow color box, which is, yeah, the box which is just like, way behind all the elements. Now I change it to 1. As soon as I change, just observe this, all the z index auto elements will go behind. Just observe it. Now this element is positioned. Okay, we are not seeing the complete code, but just to give you an illustration now. You see, it comes on top. Now this, you see the order, there's element which is 2 which is on top, 1 is behind. For example, it looks very easy actually, this concept. Yeah. So once they come on z axis, you just have to order like just a numerical order. Yeah, just exactly numerical order. So now say I want to make it 3. See what happens. 2 will go behind. Same way 5. If I set the z index of this element to 5, then it just comes behind 6. I will set it to 7, then everything is in behind. Alright? So this is the example. Now I have another code pen example. Let me show you. Okay, so here we got 3 boxes. Dashed box, gold box, green box. This is again example which was given in MDN. So there are 3 boxes. Yeah, you see a dash, you see a gold and green. Now for all this box, just to come on the Z axis, first thing is we have to change the position. You make whatever position values. We say the element is positioned if and only if it has a position value. Okay, if at all it has a position value other than static. By default it is static, and you use any of this position value, then the element will start coming on the Z axis. And yesterday we discussed some of the Z position values. That time I told you, see, element will come out of its natural flow. It will overlap on other elements. It forms a separate plane itself. Okay, so you can think of like a plane, like, so a layer. Yeah, so that layer ordering only is possible with Z index. Alright, so now to see the style, yes, wrapper, which is the outer wrapper, the dashed box which is having position relative, and the gold box which is having position, yeah, and the green box which is also having position. It doesn't matter which position you are using. Now the only thing that we would like to do is we want to like to order it. So now you see yellow box is on top. The only reason yellow box is on top, yeah, the gold box, which is, okay, the gold box is on top because it has a higher value, 3. If I make it 1, see what happens. It goes behind green because green has highest. If I say auto, you see what happens. The element should ideally go, yeah. So since it is positioned absolute already and the element is coming after the dashed box, that's why it is coming on top, though we set auto. This is another behavior. Okay, so for example, yeah, let me show you with another example. So let's say I make z index 1. This is almost equal to z index 1 now. So when elements are having matching z index, okay, the latest element, yeah, in the document order, whichever comes in the end, that will come on top. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this element will come on top if both of them having matching z index. Alright, so this is what is actually z index and when it appears. But then as a beginner, I told you this is enough. There exists another advanced topic which is called stacking context, which I was showing you. There is a page that tells when the stacking context gets formed. Yeah, there are different situations when a stacking context itself gets formed. And I gave you an illustration how what is mean by stacking context. Yeah, so it is not, you cannot take like, okay, there is only one z axis You will have to imagine that there is a case when multiple z-axis gets formed. Okay, so this each of this you can consider as a stacking context. And let's say in simple words, you have element over here, element over here also, and there is an element over here also, which might be blocking because of this other stacking context. The first thing is element should compete within that stacking context, and then the whole stacking context should compete with other context to come onto the top. This is the same example I gave you with a simple illustration of the index of the book. 1.50 is always less than 2.0. Okay, so this much is enough. If you're a beginner, if you're interested in understanding the stacking context, yeah, go ahead and understand. In some situations, yes, we need to understand this. But for now, this is more than sufficient to start with CSS. All right. So with this, so let's move on to the other core topic, which is position, which is an important topic. Also, in terms of interview, people ask heavily this particular thing. In CSS, if at all they want to trick you or they want to find you, whether you are good or how good you are, okay? So they'll ask, what is the difference between these positions? Okay, before answering that question, so let's do a recap of the different things that we have learned already. I found a very good article actually, so which is by Jack Snook. Huh? It was written some time ago, but which was really good. I've taken some examples here. Okay, I'll also share this particular thing, the link along with the video. So have a look, and if you want to read this. Since I've covered a few of them, I will actually revise. That will become a good revision for you guys. So the first position we have understood is called a static. So we have got three box in the entire examples. So we use this, all of them are box, but then we use a positioned box as position. So meaning we want to just position this box alone. That's all. Yeah, a simple, very simple example. And we got a container. Container is just to group all these elements. So with the help of static element, we say it is in its natural order, meaning wherever it is present. If I have put this element first, then it will be first. If I put the second, then it will be second. If I put that element in the end, then it will be in the end. That's all. That is what is static. So other element comes, they will push this element. If I add one more element, one more box here, that will just push this element. That's all. And if I have a static and this is a default value, we say it is not a positioned element. Which one? This element is actually not positioned, though it's a default value. So that is position static. All right. Yeah. So let's move on to the second position, which is relative. So remember, what did I tell you about relative? Yes, with position relative, I would like to position the second box. If I start positioning it, the element will move from its original position. Originally the box was here, correct? So originally the box is here somewhere. It starts moving from here. The reference point is this top coordinates. So here is what we say top 0, 0, meaning the axis starts. It's a reverse axis actually. Okay, so the element starts moving. So I say top 25 pixel, left 0. You see where it goes? It comes to, yeah, the left. Yeah. So if you move top value, I mean left value, top value, so we can position it. We need not have to give one value. You can give any one of this value also is fine. Let's say you just want to. So I told you we can use. So there are three properties. Yeah. So top, left, what else? Right and bottom. We can use all these three values to position a positioned element. Positioning a positioned element. And another important difference we understood from this position relative is, let's say this element is positioned, I would say top 200 pixel. It comes almost like out of the box. You see, this creates a gap. It is not occupied. Yeah, it is left vacant. This is what we said in relative. No other element can come and fill that gap. Though element is out of its natural flow. First of all, the element comes out of the natural flow. It starts moving from its original position, yeah, wherever it was there, and it creates a gap. Okay, this is position relative. Okay, with that, let's move on to the third positioning, I think, which we didn't cover. I think the one which is covered is fixed. Remember, yeah, fixed is a positioning which we covered. Yeah, this is fixed. Yeah, this is fixed. So what did we talk about positioning fixed? So we have got a box here, and there is a document here. Now you see this box is fixed. To what it is fixed? It's not. We should not call it is fixed to the page. We should say it is fixed to the viewport, the display area that you can see. Yeah. So to the display area it is fixed. Okay. So it's almost like relative. Yeah. Where relative is fixed. I would say fixed is almost like absolute actually, not like relative. So we'll understand. Uh, so you see, using fixed also. So once I change a position to fixed, I can move top. I can say left 20 pixel. Yeah. I can say right 20 pixel. So likewise I can place that element wherever I want. But then it is just fixed. It doesn't move. It is fixed to the viewport. And the reference value you give 120, they're all taken from this top 0, 0. This is the viewport 0, 0. And here the plus value, here the again the positive values. Reverse it goes back actually. Let's say I put top minus 100 pixel. You see where it goes. It is not visible only. I say top, minus 10 pixel. You see, it is kind of hiding. You can give even negative values also. Positive values also possible. And I told you an important use case of these position values. Fixed is heavily used for, model windows, models, yeah, popovers, okay, tooltips, because they are fixed. I think tooltip is different, yeah. Tooltip and popover, no, I think it is only, I would say, models for now. Tooltip and popover, it is, I think, obsolete. Yeah, obsolete will help actually, because so popover is nothing but, so you see, a text is visible now. This is called tooltip. And popover is, let's say, if I click on this, now it should come. If I click on this, then it should come. So this is called model. Whatever window you are seeing now, this is called model. It is just kind of fixed to that place only. It doesn't move also, and it has a backdrop also. See, if I click outside, that will close. And this one is called popover. And what I said now on over, if I get some text, this is called tooltip. All right. So this is position fixed. Yeah, position fixed and as a CSS position. Okay, with this we kind of revised what is static, what is relative, what is fixed. But then we have got two more important position values. So the other one is absolute position. Yeah. So this position in a way it behaves like a fixed. Yeah, you can think of like a bit modification to fixed. Absolute is somewhat like fixed. Yeah, in one case it behaves like fixed only. In other case it is actually kind of fixed. Okay, well let's understand. So now this is a position box. I made it position absolute. Okay, so where was the element before positioning it? Let us see. It was here, the center. Now what I have given, position absolute. After that I'm saying left 0, bottom 0. Now can you tell me what is what is its reference point, from where it is moving? When I say left 0, bottom 0, it is coming to this corner. What is its reference point then? So we learned fixed, it is from the viewport. If I say 0 0 for the same position fixed, you see where the element goes now. Or maybe top 0 0, just to show you. Yeah, anything, all four. See where it goes. The moment I say position absolute, see where the element will place. Where it is placed? It is placed to its container.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is placed to the container 0 0, not its original position. That is relative. Fixed, it is with respect to viewport. Static, no placement at all. It is its normal position. So the container 0 0. This is one behavior of how this positioned absolute element works. But then this is going to place with respect to that container, provided that container is relative or any of the position value. It can be absolute, it can be fixed, it can be, yeah, anything other than static. The container has to be positioned with any of the other four values. Or even if you want to use absolute, that's okay, you use absolute. Here also it works. The container is also absolute, child is also absolute. Still the absolute element with the left and top value, it goes and position with respect to the container. What if I remove the container value as container from I'll just make it static position for the container, which is almost same as not positioning that element. See where it is going? Where did it go? It is going with respect to the viewport.
Top left. Yes.
It is now positioning with respect to viewport. Why? Because it did not find any positioned ancestor elements. This box did not find a positioned ancestor element. In that case, you can think of like, okay, it will take the root element as a positioned element. So it is also getting placed with respect to viewport. Okay, now what if I have one or more element above this container? It's a chance that in HTML we have a lot of nesting, correct? So let's introduce another element. Let's introduce another element, okay, which is on top of container. But instead of positioning the container now, I will position the wrapper. Let's see what happens now. But before that, let me add some style to the wrapper element. So wrapper. So I put border 1 pixel solid. I'll make a blue box. Okay. Instead of solid, we know what is solid and all that. We'll make dotted. Now both are overlapping. Yeah, wrapper and the div. So for that, to get some space around, so let's say padding 50 pixel. What did I do? I created some. Okay. Now what was the initial position for the box? Positioned box. It was in the center. Okay. When the container is positioned, let's say it is positioned other than static, then let's see how does it work. It was working with respect to that its nearest positioned ancestor element. In this case, it is container. Let us say now that nearest positioned ancestor is like this container. So what if container is not positioned? It goes to the viewport. But what if wrapper is positioned, which is not its parent element, but it is one of the ancestor element? What if wrapper is positioned? What happens? Just observe. Okay.
Sir, what, sir?
So in this particular case, whatever literally done. Okay, let me show you once again. I'll add a container position relative and then I'll remove the position for the box. Now just observe. Okay, this is the final simplified way. I'll tell you. We understood so many scenarios. Now I'm going to conclude the definition also. So now the position is static. Let's say if an absolute element finds a positioned parent, in our case container is positioned, so then it starts positioning with respect to that positioned immediately available positioned parent element or positioned ancestor. There is only one parent and these are called ancestors. This is clear?
Okay, sir.
This is clear now. Now the other
Sir.
scenario I'm saying, what if container is not relative, then it goes to its nearest positioned ancestor. You see the nearest ancestor which is positioned is wrapper. Though container is a
Yes, sir.
parent, it is gone to that positioned element, not the non-positioned element. What if in case the wrapper which is the ancestor is not positioned, then it goes to the viewport. So basically absolute position,
Okay,
we
sir.
say it finds the nearest positioned ancestor and it is going to position with respect to that element. If at all it is not able to find any position ancestor, then it is going to position with respect to the viewport, which is almost like fixed.
Yes, sir.
Clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So this is the fourth CSS position. So now we have the last one, which is a sticky. What is the position? Sticky. The value is sticky. So position we have to give sticky. If you remember yesterday I told you the sticky, you know, is just a behavior. Okay. It is like acting between fixed and relative. That position element is transitioning between fixed and relative. When it will transition between the fixed and relative? Fixed we said fixed to the viewport. Relative we said okay it is there in that place. Correct? You see now top 10 pixel. Okay, so the element is there wherever it is now. Okay, it did not move. Okay, so it is there in the document flow. But you see as soon as I start scrolling, do you see it is fixed now?
Okay. Yes,
It
sir.
is fixed. But whenever I come to its position again, it is just there in the document. So now when it became sticky, as soon as this reaches the viewport, be it top, be it right side, or even to the right and bottom. Okay, so I'm mentioning the condition now. So on the top, if I reach, okay, if I come, if the element, you know, comes to that point, like okay, the 10 pixel, then it becomes like fixed. For that, okay, we
Okay,
should be
sir.
we should be in scroll. We should be in scroll. Otherwise, it will not just get stick. So since we are in the scroll, and when it touches the viewport at this value, then it becomes sticky. It's like fixed now. Fixed. This is as simple as position fixed, kind of 10 pixel. Okay, this is sticky.
Okay.
Now I'll show you
Yes.
another variation of this. Okay, there is another variation which has explained clearly. So, so now this is the first example we saw. The second example is the second example for sticky is, see this. Now let's say I have one more a box as a parent element. This is a box which is positioned sticky, but then it has got a container. We say the sticky element starts becoming fixed provided so when its container is in when the container element is in scroll. Though I mean it has to reach this point, and also we should understand that the container should be in scroll. Yeah, I'm scrolling. You see, I am scrolling. It is still fixed. See now, I'm just moving
Yes,
now.
sir.
Now the container goes out of the viewport. Do you see it is fixed now, or sticky? Stick to the screen? No. This is another behavior. So, so it is like sticky as long as its container is in scroll and also it is visible. And generally we use this, I told you, for something like a header. For example, a fixed header. I want to have a fixed navigation bar and assume I have a lot of content. I would like to have the content scrolling. That time I would like to display the user this navigation bar. Then we will use this sticky. Is it clear? This is position sticky
Yes,
as a
sir.
value. Alright, so with this we kind of covered 5 different position values. Yeah, and we understood an important property called Z index. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so with this, let's move on to I think the mostly the final topic for the day. Yeah, which is link styling. For this also I found a very good link where they've explained about CSS link. So let's see what it is. Okay, so part of this, one thing we'll understand is how to style the link. So what exactly is a link? So link is our anchor tag, correct? So link is nothing but our anchor tag. So
Yes.
let's say I have an anchor tag. How do I style it? First of all, let's understand why do you need to style an anchor tag? What is the benefit of styling an anchor tag? What do you get if I style an anchor tag?
Easily the user will get understand, sir.
Yeah. What he will understand? Whether I visited this link, whether I'm clicking this link, or somewhere else I'm clicking. Correct? So this is basically usability. Yeah, kind of user experience is improved. Correct? Now I visited it. It shows that in a different color, maybe purple. Earlier it was blue. When not visited, it was blue. Now it's like turned purple. And when I'm clicking again, it shows red. And over, it will have a different color. So, so this is basically link. Now, in order to style this link, there are pseudo classes. So we know what is a class. In HTML, we know what is a class. We say a class is equal to link. This is a class. But then pseudo class, okay, pseudo class exists on this element, yeah, based on some event. For example, on hover, one pseudo class gets added. On click, one pseudo class gets added. Once you release and if it is visited, then pseudo class gets added to this element only. Okay, they are not completely exist on this element, they exist based on some events like this. So now let's understand those pseudo classes. Along with that, let's also understand how do we style this element. Let's say I want to change a different color. That's what is styling, correct? On hover, I would like to have a different style for the element itself. Let's say on hover, I don't want text decoration, or I want text decoration to be there. Yeah, maybe text decoration none. Let's say I would like to make it none, and I would like to have border 1 pixel solid, and I would like to also have padding of pi pixel. Let's see how does it look like, just to show you. Do you see it turned different now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this way we would like to style when on hover. Now what is hover? Pseudo class. When it got added? Based on some user event. It is not always there. That is the reason it is called pseudo class. If it is always there, then we say class,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. Now again, this is also very important interview question. Also, you can take it. Yeah. Though I am not covering what is interview and all that, I am trying to cover the basic topics. This is important to understand. So it has got hover, active, visited, and uh, yeah, over, active, visited. I think there is one more. Okay, one more class. Okay, let me check. MDN, anchor, pseudo classes. Okay, I forgot the one more. Let me check what is that. Over active actually. I think it is active. Yeah, just a second. Right. So let's continue. Let's continue. So I was saying about pseudo classes, and there are different pseudo classes, right? And yeah, there is one very good article which talks about the different pseudo classes. Yeah, I said there is a pseudo class for anchor tag itself. Fourth one, so over, visited, active is one more. I think, yeah, I think hmm, they're not giving. Okay, so you see, these are all there are so many pseudo classes are there. Okay, so element display state pseudo classes. Okay, I think. Uh, okay, no worries. I think I'll tell you what is a pseudo class. I'm missing one. I think it is link. Yeah, exactly. This is called link. This is the one I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. So though it says, okay, hover active visited as an anchor tag, it has also got another state called link, which is unvisited link. See, though I think they mentioned here, but they didn't list it here. I think that's what I was looking for. So this style we understood. Yeah. This style we understood. We put over and then color is red. But then, yeah. So but then, okay. So there is one important thing you have to remember. If at all you are writing styles, you should write in this order. Meaning, if you want to style the link, first you should write the style for link pseudo class, and then you should write visited pseudo class, and then you should write over, and then you should active. Yeah. If at all you are adding all these things, or maybe combination of this. Let's say you are adding visited only, and you want to add a style for active. Then you should write visited first and then active. Why? If at all you reverse it, you expect that visited will override the active. If you write active first and then later visited, you won't see the visited style. So this active will override the visited. Yeah, I repeat. So I said if you if you
Yes, sir.
if you don't follow this order, okay, if you write visited, then so the active will get overridden by visited. You don't see an active style. That's why this order is important. Fine. Again, active, as I told you the class, so you can say active, yeah, anchor active, and that time you wanted to pass a different color. Visited, visited is you already visited it, some time ago or just now. That time what you want to show, a different color you want to show. Link in the beginning, in the very beginning, what you want to show. Okay, over is when I want to hover, yeah. So it is so initially the link is in a link state which is not visited, yeah, state which is called link state. Now I'll say I can put a different color. I say brown. Let's say I put a brown color for the link. Yeah, link becomes a brown link, and hover, when I'm hovering it gets a different style. Okay, and same way anchor active. Yeah, before active I think we should write visited. You remember before active. Before active, first thing is visited and then hover. Okay, so even before hover I should write visited, the link state and the visited state, the hover state, and then the active state. Okay, so you have to remember some of this order. Initial and the end state. This is over, and then after over, what happens? The active. I mean, let's say if you focus, then that state. So now let's say color red for active, and then here visited, I'll say color green. Let's say I would like to make the color as green now. What do you see now? Yeah, since it is visited, it is showing green. Correct? Already green. So let me just change it. Let me just change this tag. I'll remove it, and again I'll introduce so that we start seeing the state. So what is its initial state? Brown. Correct? This is that brown state. And text decoration, there's another property which you might have already seen. Text decoration none, which means so now it is in link state. As soon as I over it, I totally have a different style. You see that? Yeah. So I'm adding a border to it. Now when I am
Yes.
about to click, see it turns red. Yeah, I'm pressing on this, and after visiting, it has become green. And here, this order is also important. Let's say if I put, yeah, in a different order, you won't see the expected style. For example, now I would like to active. See that? I'm trying to click. Is it red now? No, not. It's still green. Okay, I'm trying to over. Do you see it has become green? Yeah. So though I did not mention the value here, let's say I make a color as blue. Let's say. See what happens. And hover also it is still green, which is the last value. This is why the order is important. And these are the pseudo classes for link. And then we understood how to style the link. If at all we have some links, and generally we style them. Okay, we don't leave them at a default style because browser style is not enough. Sometimes we would like to match to the page theme, the page design. Okay, these are pseudo classes. But as we saw, there are more pseudo classes than what we have. For example, there is a pseudo class called checked. When this pseudo class will match. For example, you have a checkbox and that is clicked, that's selected. Yeah, we got blank. For example, you got an input which is empty or containing an empty string or even null input. You're not given anything. Then it's a blank input. That time this pseudo class will come. So you can use on an input colon blank. For them you can put a different style. For example, you have some required inputs and user has not entered, and all the blanks you can put some different color. Yeah. So invalid. For example, you put email as a type and name you are given something else. You're not given a proper email. Then it's an invalid value, correct? Just to give an example. Or let's say type I've given as number and I'm trying to type something, some text. So likewise, it has got, we have got lot of pseudo classes. Yeah. So again, we can select based on the content of the language. These are location based pseudo class, visited, target. Yeah. So just understand that there are pseudo classes. Again, the list is also increasing. Yeah, we have some advanced, like, okay, these are called even, pseudo selectors. Yeah. So nth child. I think we'll have one session covering some of these important ones with respect to the selectors. Yeah, this is user action pseudo class, hover, active, focus, focus visible. Okay, so we got, yeah, again, so focus and focus active, focus visible, focus within, three focus were there. Again, this focus is all related to input. So you know what is focus, right? You know what is focus. I try to see, I try to use some tab, I try to click on that element. For example, if it's an input, I would like to, enter something in that input, correct? Then that is actually focus, correct? See, the element gets focused. See, the element gets a focused. So during that focus, I would like to have a different thing. That's what is the pseudo class called focus, which is applicable for input. Then we have got somewhat like changes within that focus itself. Focus within is, for example, if that element is focused or one of its child element is in focus, then the focus within gets applied. Meaning, so if any of the descendant elements gets a focus, for example, the good example is, now I click on first name, but you see this whole, the container, the div gets a different color. How? So because it is focused within. So now focus is within this element. That's why. Be it in last name, be it in first name. Focus is within this div. That's why the div gets that class applied called focus within.
Okay, sir.
Now same way, one we have got another pseudo class focus visible. Yeah, focus visible. They say this is almost doing same as focus. Yeah. So the only thing they are saying why we specifically, yeah, again the question is, okay, what is the difference between focus visible and focus? Yeah. So they're saying there is one problem generally that we cannot detect with just focus. So imagine you want to remove outline of some button or links, then it will be little bit problematic for those user who tries to access through keyboard. Which means, let's say I try to access this with the keyboard. Yeah. So there will be problem, especially when I am moving with keyboard. So here we can use, let's say you want to even highlight or put the border with the, you know, a tab or any other keys using, keyboard. We can go for what is called focus visible. With the help of this focus visible, basically user will be able to understand that he'll be able to see it basically. Focus is visible. Here I have removed it, focus is not visible. Let's say I want to remove the border. I don't want to have the border. Yeah. Here I would like to have the border. Meaning Focus is visible. It's not a border. You see the difference? Both are not having border. It's just that focus is visible now. On the CSS, if you want to see, okay, for one of the element, we say focus is visible. On the HTML element, you see the HTML template. So first name and second last name has focus visible, and first name doesn't have. And when it comes to CSS for the input, we'll see that they would have removed the border. Yeah, form and then div input. Yeah, there is a border, but there is a light border. You see, hash CCC is there for both. But then, do they have focus? Okay, they're not showing focus. Okay, what actually happens with focus? Uh, but they say, okay, imagine you wanted to remove the outline of some button. So there is a one more property called outline. I think we have not covered border for some of you. I think we have not discussed at least for few of you. So there is a property which is called outline. So there is a difference between outline and a border. There's a light difference between what is border and what is outline. And both are actually two different properties. But both are a bit confusing. The reason being they're applied again. Outline is also comes around the border. Now just to tell you a simple difference, okay, border adds up to the width of the element. First of all, what is width? Yes, we have a property. We have a property related to the box model, which is called width. So it adds up to the element width. Whereas outline, it doesn't add as an outline. Okay, as an outline, it doesn't add. You see, there is a shift now. Yeah, but outline, it doesn't take that extra space. Okay, it doesn't take that extra space. Now you see with the border 3 pixel solid, it is shifting because it is taking some extra space. Now let's say if I change this to outline, okay, let me go on editing the code pen. Let's see what happens with outline. Just to show you the difference. Yeah, but we will be understanding these properties in detail. But now since that word is there, I'm just telling you. Do you see a shift now? Do you see there is a drift which is coming because I'm clicking? No. You see that for the same element I put a border. Border is basically adds up to the width. You see that the screen kind of jerk is there. Do you see the jerk?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's clearly visible because of border. And that's what is the difference between border and outline. But both the properties are to add a line around the element. Okay, so I think with this we will yeah end for this session. I think we'll continue the rest of the properties in the next session. Yeah, so just to quickly summarize it. Yeah, so we understood what is Z index. We saw the different examples for Z index. Yeah, Z index as a property, very important, but this works only for positioned element, not works for static elements. Alright, and there is an yeah concept called stacking context, which is related to it, but as a beginner, it's okay even if you don't understand. And the default value of Z index is auto, which is important to remember. Now, once we understood that, we saw what are the different position values. Yeah, so in CSS we got 5 types of position values: sticky, relative, absolute, fixed, yeah, so and static. We saw the examples for each one of them. We also understood what is the difference. And as I said, I'll be sharing this particular article link. Read it, okay? Read it and also play around with these values to understand yourself better. Okay?
Okay.
Now, yeah, we saw examples for each one of them, each of those position values. After that, we understood what exactly is, styling a link, how to style a link. We discussed a bit why to style a link. And then we saw there are different pseudo classes which comes for helping us to style the link in a different state. Yeah, anchor tag goes through the different state. It will be first in links state, then we will have it like, okay, visited if it is all visited already. Otherwise, if you do a mouse over, then it becomes over, and when the we are focused on that element, then it is active. So we have got pseudo classes and some popular pseudo classes like focus. Within these things we can use with the input to style an input. Basically, these are used for styling the input. Okay, so with this, I would like to end the session here. Yeah, feel free to ask any of the questions. Yeah, and I repeat, so with these concepts, please subscribe to the channel also. Yeah, so that you will be get notified. You don't have to see my group message and all that. So whenever I'm uploading a new content, you will start seeing. Yeah, also you get access to the content. And in the future also, if at all I make any new videos, so you'll be get notified. And feel free to put things in the comment. Yeah, if you find something needs to be fixed, or if you find something is still not clear. Okay, I'll take that. I'll be looking at for your comments also if there are anything, and even give a thumbs up also. Yeah, if you have fully understood and yeah, you're good with the content, so give a thumbs up. With that, see you. Yeah, until next video. Bye bye.